anytime you enter a ground that is not your physical property, you're trespassing. And understanding that risk as a photographer, but also understanding that perhaps the only thing you take away is light. I borrow somebody's property for a perspective. I leave no trace, I don't break anything, I don't misbehave. For me, I knew that if I could get into the elevator, I knew most likely the rooftop door would be open. So for me, it's really just piecing puzzle pieces together and trying to get through the obstacles that keep me from a certain perspective. Something only becomes dangerous when there's uncalculated risk. And with my photography, especially going into locations or into surroundings that propose physical danger, I think calculating your movements and calculating your interaction with the environment really helps you mitigate the risk and really allows you to continue with the images that you inspire to capture, but at the same time puts most of the danger aside. So nothing that I do is uncalculated. Most of my inspiration in photography comes through experiencing different culture, through smelling, through eating, through interacting with a new, different environment, and experiencing the sensation of experiencing new environments drives me to explore more and go further than I otherwise would. For personal projects and continuing my personal work, most of my research happens within Google Maps and sort of understanding a city layout, finding properties that look interesting to me. And then also there's forums, there's social media, there's other people's work where you can piece together perspectives, where you can piece together an environment and then sort of making judgments about the environment and your interests really is like the building stones that I use to put together personal projects and a location list for that. A lot of times during the daytime, of course, I photograph handheld, but you need a tripod for lenses such as the perspective control lenses from Nikon, because they're so geared towards perfect adjustments that a tripod is inevitable. So in dark environments, for me it's really important to keep my ISO as low as possible, so I retain the best amount of detail for a potential print of the photograph. So I always think with a printed photograph in mind. And when you go really low on ISO settings, then your shutter speed becomes slower as well. So for that, you really need a tripod. The most important is capturing light and understanding light together with composition, and that is really what makes a photograph, and not how much money you have to spend on equipment or your resources. What really matters is light and composition, and if you understand the two, I think you have the chance to become a really successful photographer. For me, most of my inspiration comes from architects and the way architects compose the way we interact with their physical facility, and then me as a photographer dissecting those lines and creating something new. That really is a motivating and inspiring sort of way of working. So the train station in Liège is designed by Santiago Calatrava, who is a famous Spanish architect. And you can find his works all the way from Milwaukee to Miami to the train station, the Oriental train station that I photographed a few years ago in Lisbon. So knowing that I would be in the vicinity of the train station in Liège, I definitely wanted to make sure that it is on my itinerary and that I get to walk away with some photographs, because Calatrava for me personally is a very modern, very inspiring architect. So surrounding myself with his lines always helps me to kind of pull creative new energy from it. And then in terms of equipment preparation, I usually just go with a backpack that can carry everything that I might step into. So I need a flashlight, I need a set of gloves, obviously camera, a few lenses and a tripod. That gives me a kit that puts me in a solid place that can conquer anything that comes along its way. Compagnon is my backpack sponsor. I work closely with them, giving them hints about better product development, but then they also support me with what I'm using now, the prototype of the Explorer backpack, which then for me fits a Nikon D850, a few Nikon lenses ranging from wide angle tilt shift to telephoto, and then for me it's always really important to have a light set of tripod legs. And now, for most of my work, I carry an Arca Swiss D4 geared head. I think there's no excuse not to take photographs. If you make time an excuse to not being able to photograph as much as you would like to, then you should probably not take photos at all. I think there's absolutely no excuse not to have 10 minutes a day to take at least one photograph and concern yourself with it.